Hi, everyone. Welcome to this epic disaster. We know you've been waiting with bated breath for the next show.
Means they just ate tuna?
And this is it.
Oh, hi.
This is the next show. This is episode number 207. 207 for those keeping score at home.
207.
That's correct.
How many weeks is that? Oh, I don't know. 207?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm Rick, and Cheri's sitting over here. We don't often introduce ourselves on the podcast.
But we should.
We just assume people know.
Well, sometimes. But then people that do know us don't listen anymore. So you never know. We might have
no one listens to the podcast.
You might have new listeners who don't know who we are.
We don't have new listeners. No one's that crazy.
I'm Cheri. That's Rick. Across the table from me, we're going to do a show.
We're going to do a show. One of the things that we do on this show, on this epic disaster, this show right here, that we've been doing for how many years? 5, 6, 7?
We're not even
long,
4.
long
Try 4.
time. We do a live beer review. If you don't know what that is, we drink a beer that we've never had before, and we drink it throughout the show. At the end of the show, we'll tell you what we think about it.
I didn't realize this was an Ommegang beer.
We have several of those.
I like the Ommegang stuff.
Yeah, we have good luck with those.
This one is called Keep It Crunchy. It's a
I like to do the sound effects every once in a while.
You go for it. It's a granola. Okay.
I did that with my mouth.
No, you didn't. It's a granola stout, stout with natural flavors and caramel color. It's 6.5% alcohol by volume. I'll just read this little blurb here on the back. It says, this hearty granola stout is the perfect companion. I almost said campaign. Companion for your next outdoor adventure. However, we are still indoors. Complex and flavorful, it overflows with pecan aromas. And do you say pecan or pecan?
I say pecan.
Okay. Pecan aromas and vanilla undertones. Oh, it's got undertones. Bestowing a subtle sweetness that pairs beautifully with the silky texture derived from flaked oats and dried cranberries. Mm-hmm. So it says stout with natural flavors and caramel color, cranberry, honey, cocoa nibs, pecan flavor. That's what you said, right? Pecan flavor.
Pecan.
Oats and vanilla. Brewed and canned by Brewery Ommegang, Cooperstown, New York.
Oh, wow.
Yep, Ommegang, New York.
It does not have an overwhelming scent, I feel like. I kind of expected granola. It would be like really sweet smelling and like full of
Well, that depends on what you put in your granola.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying I figured it would smell like that, and it doesn't. It doesn't really have I don't feel like it has a smell at all.
It's fairly dark. It looks like cola.
Yeah, it definitely is dark, and you would expect that from a stout, and I feel like it's going to be too sweet. Not as sweet as last week's.
Oh, dear God.
Fruit wood.
Last week killed me.
Yeah, that was too much.
Killed me.
All right, I'm going to try mine. I'm going to go ahead and try it.
All right, give it a sip.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's all? You just okay?
We've had a lot of stouts on the show. And it tastes like every stout we've had on the show.
I have to get through the head. Hold on.
Yeah. It does produce, and that's a good sign. Maybe we'll see toward the end of the show if it holds its carbonation. It's good. It's typical of some that we have had before.
I get the coffee right away. Mm-hmm. I get the cocoa. Mm-hmm. But cocoa and coffee go great together. I don't get any cranberry, honey, or oats or vanilla. Well, maybe a little vanilla.
By the end of the show, maybe you will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, I want to tell you something. You cannot talk about this. You can't mention this to anybody, but to no one.
So not even on the podcast?
Especially my wife. And the reason I'm telling you is because she doesn't listen.
She doesn't listen.
She'll never find out. Anytime I want to tell you something, keep secret. The best place to do it is on the podcast because she never listens to it. All right, so I don't remember if we talked about this. Did we talk about the comedy show that we did at the did we?
We haven't yet because we haven't recorded since then because that was on Monday and we were supposed to record on Tuesday.
So it came out on Monday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct because I was just like, if you would come up and help on Monday, we wouldn't have to record on Tuesday. Okay, so I was just getting my timeline figured out here. So we have a comedy show at the gallery. My wife turned 50 and she's told everybody, so she doesn't care. She turned 50. Was it on
the 13th of February?
Was that Monday?
No, that was Sunday.
Okay, that's right, because we celebrated on Sunday, and then Valentine's Day was Monday, and that was the day of the comedy show.
It was called Galentine's.
Right, and then she changed it to Galentine, Palantine, whatever.
Whatever you want.
But anyway, she wanted, for her birthday, she wanted to have a comedy show. She'd never done that before, so she wanted to do it. And she wanted to do it at the gallery, so we booked it. And I'll tell you, I was really concerned. I was like, this is not going to do really well. She kind of did it last minute. I think.
Well, you were concerned about how many people were going to show up.
I know.
Even at the moment, you were concerned.
Totally. So I think 2 weeks was all she had to kind of promote this. It was sort of a last minute thing.
Yep.
And so my concern, of course, is always the comics, because I used to do stand-up, and I was just like, if you don't have a full house of people laughing, you're going to be dying up there, and a comic doesn't want to do that, so they get very concerned. And so I was just afraid not enough people would show up.
Here's
like two people out there, they're not going to laugh. You're not
at everything,
right? And it's just not good for the comedians.
And comedians, they either kill or they die.
Yeah,
those are the terminologies.
Well, too, you could die at a full house.
Yes.
You could kill at a small house.
Yes.
I've done both.
Right.
And but at the same time, if you're performing and you see a small house, or you see a house that's not a traditional comedy club or comedy environment, you sweat a little bit.
Yeah, there's some nerves.
Yeah, and I can remember a couple of performances I did way back then where they were in non-traditional comedy environments, and I was just like, no, I can't do this. Like, I was invited, so one of my performances was a high school prom.
What? No.
It was a really, really small Bible high school.
Because you were still a Christian when you did your stand-up.
I was doing what you might call, quote, Christian comedy, but this was a really small Bible school high school group. And they didn't have a traditional prom because they were a Christian.
Not allowed to dance.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they danced, but I don't know what they did like before this. But their prom was to go to the steakhouse, and they wore like formal dining clothes. I mean, formal clothes.
Sure.
And they went and they had steak and all the stuff. So that was their prom. You know, you can't. I mean,
a nice dinner.
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
These kids, they deserved something nice. So they chose to have a comic perform. Unfortunately, they chose me. So I was their prom guy, and I go to this restaurant, and I'm just scared to death because it's like, I've never performed in a restaurant before.
So the show is in the restaurant?
It is in the restaurant.
Wow.
Well, now, comedy clubs are restaurants, so it's actually really close to a comedy club.
Sure.
But they had a private room in the back.
Okay, like a banquet hall.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was definitely set up like a banquet, and I got to eat steak and all the stuff, and then I got up to do, and I was prepared to die. I just was like, this environment is just not gonna.
And these are teenagers,
totally.
And you're in your 20s.
Yeah, I just knew it wasn't gonna work. One of the best performances that I'd had. That it was perfect. They loved it.
They were ready for some.
They were totally
comedic.
So it worked.
Yeah.
So, and I had another one like that just I just knew it was going to die, and it worked out perfectly. So you can't always tell. And so here we are in an art gallery in an area that's just not. I don't know if it's how many people do you think was there? Maybe
30.
Really? Do you think it was that much?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not bad then. I was thinking it was closer to like 15.
Because there was all the seats were taken, and there were people standing, and you had 20 chairs.
Yes.
There were at least 6 or 7 people standing.
Yeah.
So closer to 30.
Well, I didn't really. I was working in my studio.
Yes.
So I could hear it, but I wasn't in there, like actually watching it. And it was nonstop laughter. Yeah. I mean, they killed. They did so well.
Yes.
And so after it was over, the comics came up to my wife and they were like, "We want to do this every month.
Every month.
They want to come back and do it." They had such a good time. And one of the girls was like, it may not be the biggest audience we've ever had,
but it's fun.
But it was one of the most fun. And they just constantly were with them. So
and they got to eat and they got to drink.
So it worked out
and they
really
got
well.
to hang out and look at artwork.
Yeah.
And they got to use their surroundings in their show, which a lot of them did ad-lib. because one of the areas of your gallery is the main middle section where you put your featured artist.
Yeah.
And your featured artist this month happened to be someone who does quilts of naked people.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of exposed vaginas. And all of the comics were women, and they all used the artwork in the room as part of their act. Yeah. Like, in the moment, improving. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, I always did that because that people know, even though your act is always prepared, people know that can't be prepared.
Right.
So it gives the illusion that you're making it up while you're up
the whole
there.
time. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. I had so much fun. As a matter of fact, I don't remember her name, but one of the women came up to me after the fact, and she was like, "Thank you for your input during my show." She was like, "It helped."
Yeah, I kept feeling, and we didn't do this. I don't know why we didn't, but we should have asked them to be on our podcast, at least one or two.
Well, if they're going to be there next month, we can ask them then.
I don't think they're going to be there every month. They were just happy and they wanted to do it. But we will have them to come back. I was thinking more like quarterly or something. I think it'll work better. But we do need to ask them to be on the show.
And there were a lot of people that we weren't expecting to show up who showed up and bought tickets in the moment because they saw a post or something on Facebook, on your page or whatever, and they were like, "We're 6 minutes away. Let's go do that." You know. Yeah. And what I thought was great is that some of the people bought tickets prior, and I'm looking at these people and I'm like, "This is what she chose to do for Valentine's Day."
Yeah.
And you brought her here, and that's awesome.
So now this is why I'm telling you this. This is what you can't tell my wife.
Oh.
So now I'm not committing to this at all.
Okay.
But like yesterday, and I don't know why, but yesterday I was out kind of running around, and I wrote a stand-up act about probably 15 minutes long in my head. It was just like nonstop. It just kind of flowed, and I was like, holy crap, I need to write this down.
Or just turn your text on and just read it out.
And so I just thought I needed to put it down. And so I was going to put it down. And then I thought, you know what I need to do is not tell my wife. And then next time they do that, I need to get up and do stand-up. Just like, they'll be like, our next comedian. And then I will come out.
Oh, you're going to give her an asthma attack.
She would flip out.
She would flip out.
Yeah.
But how much fun would, I mean, not her having an asthma attack, but how much fun would it be to surprise her?
Yeah. I mean, I think I could do it now. I don't, I was actually talking to somebody the other day about comedy, and I was just like, I don't even have a desire to do it anymore.
But when it hits you in your head and it just comes out and flows like that, you can't ignore that.
I think that's the time to do it, is when you don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, I'm not going to be a professional. I don't even want to do it anywhere else, but it's just like in my own gallery as a surprise or whatever. I don't know. I might try it.
I think you should.
Might do it.
The only time I ever want to do art anymore of any kind is when I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden something just pops in my head and I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know? And then suddenly I'm like, I should write that down. And then I write it down, and then like 2 days later I'm like, I'm not good enough. I can't do that.
Well, you know what?
What?
You might rather do something.
Would you rather do something?
And that would be play a game. So let's play a game, Would You Rather, that we play on every show. If you listen to the podcast,
you're going to read first. Put your glasses on.
I like to say if you listen to the podcast, because
because nobody does.
Don't think anyone's out there.
But how else would I ever get you to play a game with me?
Yeah, never. What are you going to do? Drop blue? You dropping blue today?
I don't know.
You're going to drop a blue.
Are you being psychic?
Dropping that blue?
It's purple. Close enough.
Blue is not going to be a part of this. Purple is food and ingestion. Would you rather eat a quarter cup of used coffee grinds? It's not that bad.
I'd be awake for like a week, but yeah.
Eat a raw egg with the shell.
I'd be fine with either one.
Yeah, it's not. Neither of them are that
They're bad.
But you have to eat a shell. You have to eat the shell, which would be kind of nasty.
No, it's fine. You just crunch
it's calcium.
it. Yeah, it's good for you.
And ultimately, coffee grinds wouldn't be that bad unless you put them in like a cookie or bread or something like that.
But I could
like
just eat
cereal.
Coffee grinds and call it a day.
In your teeth.
And then like a week later, I might get some sleep.
Have you ever had like those coffee beans? Sometimes you can just like buy them and put them like almost like M&Ms. And
my favorite high school snack on the planet were chocolate-covered espresso beans. Chocolate-covered espresso beans.
It's the same thing. It's just like they're not ground yet. You grind them with your teeth.
Yep.
So,
and I ate bags and bags and bags of those things.
Well, like the seeds that you eat. You eat those sunflower seeds.
I've not been eating those a lot lately.
I used to get them for you for Christmas.
I know.
Stopped. That's probably why.
That's it, because they're not gifts anymore.
Yeah. It's my turn to drop?
Yes.
Drop, what am I feeling? I'm feeling my hand. I'm feeling green. Feeling the green.
I'm guessing yellow.
Green is happening. Oh, jeez.
It's blue. I think we just made green and yellow.
Should have prayed. All right, here we go.
Really? Stop with the prayer. Blue. All right. Blue is appearance and embarrassment, which you have both.
I blew it.
You blew it.
That's how it came.
Would you rather?
I would.
Be attractive yet always take a bad photo?
That's kind of the case now.
Have we gone through? I remember this question. Are we done already? There's no way.
No, there's no way, but you probably stuck in the front.
Shut up. Would you rather
stuck it in the front, stick it in the rear?
Up here for thinking, down there for dancing.
I don't know.
Be attractive yet always take a bad photo, or never be as good looking as your picture.
That doesn't make sense, because if you take a picture and your picture's good looking, that's what you look like.
Well, no. I look hideous in photos, and if you tell me
I don't think that's true.
That I look hideous in the regular, I might get up and leave.
No, I don't think that's true. So, like some people, and I think kind of my wife is one of those, but not as bad as she thinks. There are some people that really I can take a really, really, really good picture of my wife.
I've seen some.
Yeah. Because I know how to kind of set her up, and she gets really self-conscious, and she does this sort of fake smile.
Weird face,
and I won't take the picture. I'm like, so I know how to kind of bring it out.
Right.
And, but I mean, my wife is cute all the time, but she doesn't always show it in photographs. And I'm one of those people that always shows it in photographs and always looks like it in real life. I'm always good looking. No matter, I don't care.
And you know why that is?
Because that's true.
Because you saturate your photos. You use Photoshop.
No.
This is how I met you.
Mm-mm.
Your eyes are not that blue. I'm sorry.
See, you've always said that, and no, I didn't. That's just the way it is. It's the light. That's the way the light hits or something. I don't change.
Your hair was black.
I used to dye my hair black.
Your eyes were bright blue.
When I dyed my hair black, it made my eyes bluer.
Yeah.
But there was a time I went through a period where I dyed my hair black. I loved it.
You were also a little heavier back then.
No. What?
Well, rounder.
No.
I think you were.
No, I'm totally rounder now. There's one picture. I'll show it to you later. Why are we talking about this on the podcast? Know. When I look like a model. I look hot. I would have had sex with myself. Actually, I might have been having sex with myself when I took that picture. I think I probably was. That was a good picture, man. That's the thing about getting to this age is, so like when you're in your 40s, you could take a good picture all the time. I mean, 40s, you're not too old. 50s, and then you start realizing, oh, wait, I just have to kind of catch myself at the right time.
And how do you do that?
It just sometimes turn the right way. The lighting has to be right. You have to stand in the right room. But you start learning there's a certain way I could take a picture and I could still look really good. When you start getting your 60s, there is no way.
You're not 60 yet.
There's no good way to take your picture.
You have a couple months.
You don't have any picture that's going to look good anymore. You have to accept it.
And make it yours.
You just come out.
Own it.
It's like, okay,
yeah.
I'm old. I'm grandpa.
Own it.
You're always going to look like a grandpa.
I have a question for you.
Unless you're a grandma.
I could still look like a grandpa.
There are some grandmas that look like a grandpa.
Both. Yeah. On the other side too, vice versa.
Okay.
I have a question for you. So every morning in my company meeting, not my company meeting, but my management team meeting, we get asked a question. It's a question of the day. And sometimes it's just like, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? Blah, 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 whatever. Or what movie do you always have to watch when it's on?
We've talked about that.
Yeah. But my question for you is, what fashion trend did you follow and probably still would? And sometimes maybe it's like people make fun of you for it.
I don't know. I don't know if you call this a fashion trend, but I would have had a mullet right now.
No.
I totally would.
Really?
Yeah. I had a great mullet back then. No. I still think that, and I think they're making a comeback. But yeah, I mean, some of those 80s hairstyles, I think like no one likes them but me. But yeah, there's some of them that are awesome.
I would rather see you in a flock of seagulls haircut than a mullet.
No.
Yeah.
Bono had a great mullet. I mean, there's some really, really cool mullets. The lead singer for Thompson Twins, Tom Bailey, the big red. He had this big red mullet, and he had a really long rat tail in the back. I never had a rat tail. Never did that.
I knew people with rat tails.
Richard Marx, big mullet, great mullet.
Wow.
But yeah, there's some. Every once in a while, I'll see like an '80s band. I'm like, holy crap! Look at those guys' mullet. They're like,
you're like, I want to do my hair like that.
Yeah, I would do it. I every time I say it, I think my wife threatens to divorce me.
Well, you have curly hair to start with.
Yeah.
So a curly-haired mullet is not.
When it gets long, though, it'll straighten out. Yeah.
So my answer. Now I'll tell you some of the other people's answers. One was members-only jackets.
Yeah, those weren't bad. Those were all right. I mean, they were just jackets. I never understood I had one. I only had one. It was like a light chocolate brown.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just a jacket. There wasn't anything special.
Yeah, it's just a jacket.
I remember it had like a little belt around the neck. Like little belt loops and a little belt around the neck. And that was it. That was the only cool thing.
Yeah.
I guess that made you the member. I don't know.
Mine?
I think members only meant that you were a member. You were a dick.
You were a member.
Yeah, they were like, you know what that means. It means you're a member.
You're a member.
I've discovered that women are the only ones who use that word, by the way.
Member to describe a penis?
Yeah. I've never heard a guy do it.
I don't use that.
And whenever I hear a woman do it, I want to run. My wife did it one time. She was like, well, your member is what? And I'm like, member? What?
Like it had to pay dues or something?
Who's
and now suddenly it's like...
it's just like... It's
like a country club?
It's like one of many. Dude, I only have one. It's not a member of anything. It's a sole member. It didn't pay any dues.
It's just part of you.
It's not a member. So stop.
Stop it.
It's not a puppet either. So quit playing puppet games.
You'll never guess what mine is.
Not the members only.
No.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Black velvet chokers.
Oh, man. Those are cool.
I used to wear those all the time, and sometimes I still do. Just for fun.
I kind of miss the... even though back then I thought it was horrible, like girls wearing like Madonna lace to the mall.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Those lace gloves with no fingers.
Well, yeah, but they were wearing like bras and like tops and stuff. It's like they're
I used to dress like that. I have a photo of myself
underwear.
like that.
I'm sure you did.
I could post it on our website so people could see it. I was like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
10 at the mall wearing your mom's clothes.
No, they were mine. I bought them. But yeah. I had a different life than you did.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you had a different life than I did. You used to be one of those religious people.
Yeah. Oh, I want to talk to you about that too, because I had an experience. Well, I'm not going to go into the experience I have, but I did. All right. So before I go into this, I want to do a disclaimer.
Okay.
Sometimes we get into conversations on this show that are serious.
Yeah.
We don't always, and I would say rarely, and it's probably been a while since we've done it. And then sometimes we get into conversations that are serious and a bit controversial.
Sometimes.
I want to talk about something. I don't think it's controversial. It's kind of serious, but it's also potentially offensive, especially to religious people. And so I'm going to say this. I'm going to give it out here at the beginning.
Okay.
I'm going to say, if you are potentially sensitive about people who talk about religious things in ways that you don't like, this may not be the episode for you.
But, we've done that off the cuff before, and we've never given that disclaimer.
Well, I know, but I think I'm going to be a little more direct.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, people take it to heart here right now.
I don't think, because I know a lot of our the people who used to listen to the show. I don't know if they
we don't have any listeners.
But, and they're not the people that kind of get offended, even if they're, I know we have some people who are kind of what I would call believers.
Yeah, for
and sure. I don't think they get offended by some of the things. They may not agree with it. They don't have to agree with it.
Well, and that's the thing, is that they're able to not agree with it.
But some people can't.
And still be fine. But you're right. Some people can't.
So I just want to do that. Before we get into this, you might want to go somewhere else. You might want to stop the
or
podcast.
just try it out and see what you think.
All right,
and
so
shut us down at any point.
I think I've said enough, so we can proceed. So here's what I want to talk about: prayer. I want to talk about, because I had an experience, a little conversation on Facebook with a couple of people, and it started making me think about prayer, and I want to get into it.
Okay. So was this conversation with somebody you knew or somebody you didn't?
Yeah, I'm not. The conversation itself is not that important. It just made me start thinking about things about prayer. So now let me just say, I grew up religious, very religious.
Yes,
actually.
You were going to be a minister.
I went to college to be a minister. I spent probably the first 40-something years of my life
believing,
actively praying.
Yes.
In fact, I would say I was praying the very, very moment that I became an atheist.
Oh.
Which lasted 10 years, by the way. And then kind of changed. But anyway, which was kind of odd. But so I know about prayer. And I took a class in college called Prayer and Meditation.
And you did many different types of prayer.
I have prayed. I've prayed in public. I used to go, I mentioned it last week, I think. When I was in church, I would go visit my home church. They would always call on me to publicly pray.
Because you had this persona. And
then when I would, for a long time, at any of my family functions, they would ask me to pray.
Say grace. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I got a pretty extensive resume when it comes to prayer. I like to think that God listens to my prayers directly.
I'm sure he does after all that. He does after all that.
I want to talk about prayer and what it is and why it is. And if that doesn't interest you, this won't interest you.
Turn it off.
Okay, here's my question. Do you pray? Any like form of prayer? Do you do that?
It depends on what you mean by prayer, because I don't pray to any specific entity or deity. I don't believe in that. I do believe in positive thought. I do believe in meditation. I do believe, you'll find this funny, but I do believe in creative visualization. Mm-hmm. I think that, and you do this yourself, if you picture yourself doing something while you're meditating, you tend to get better at it, and you've said that on the podcast. If you find yourself playing your guitar while you're meditating, you tend to be able to play better guitar. That's a form of creative visualization.
Yeah, but I don't. Either you've misunderstood, because I haven't really said it exactly like that.
No, you haven't.
What I've said was, a lot of times I will in a relaxed state, I will see myself playing or practicing. Just sort of almost like a dream. I'm not sitting down thinking I'm going to do this in order to get better. It's just
no.
It's just that I can actually see myself playing, and then after that's over, I feel like that I can, like I've actually rehearsed, even if I haven't.
And it gives you more confidence.
Maybe, yeah, if it works.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I've actually found out some techniques of painting by just imagining that I'm painting. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, oh wait, I've never tried that. I'm going to try it, so but yeah, I mean, okay.
So for me, prayer, I would never describe what I do as prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer holds a certain stigma for me, because I don't pray to, like I said, any entity or deity.
Okay.
I do, however, sometimes just put something out there into the universe and hope it comes back.
As a thought?
Yeah.
Just think something?
Sometimes as a thought, sometimes out loud vocally.
Okay.
And sometimes just as a feeling. Sometimes I'll do interpretive dance.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it doesn't, it's not, please God help me. It's not like that.
I think most religions have a form of prayer. I mean, it's almost always humans pleading to God for their own will, and a lot of times they say their own will, and then they're like, "But do your own will," and it's like, well, God's, I think, according to the religion, is going to do His own will anyway, her own will anyway.
But didn't that God give humans free will?
We don't know that.
But that's what's written.
I don't know that that's written. That's what a lot of people say, but I don't know that it's written anywhere. And plus, I'm talking about all religions. So some religions might not have that written.
Also true. Yeah.
But prayer is some kind of pleading for your own will in a lot, or just like, I want this to happen. Will you make this happen for me?
But you have your own will. Why don't you make it happen?
Well, you can make it happen. That's the thing. But anyway, so now, and I kind of want to address that. I want to kind of back up to my personal experience with prayer. Like my mother taught me how to pray. When you had this little bedside prayer that kids have. Now I lay me down to sleep and all that kind of stuff.
I have never had anybody, quote unquote, teach me how to
yeah.
pray.
I mean, most people do, though. I mean, Sunday school or whatever, but your parents teach you prayers. And so and we had a prayer that we would say before we ate. And it's just a chant, basically, and that's kind of what kind of bugs me about the whole thing is that I feel like a lot of cases prayer is not thought out very carefully. So my experience for a lot of my early Christian years, I prayed, and I can remember, I would go and I would do that, and I can remember at one point, and I would pray in my mind. Because you can do that, apparently. God can read your mind. And so I'd pray in my mind. And I can remember at one point just stopping right in the middle and going, what am I doing? God supposedly already knows my thoughts.
He gave them to you.
So why am I telling him what I'm thinking? I mean, I'm thinking it, and then I'm telling him what I'm thinking. But doesn't he already know that?
But if you read the Bible, which you have, clearly, if you read the Bible, it clearly says, and this is a Christian Bible, by the way, if you read that particular Bible, it does say that I give you free will, but if you want my help, you need to ask for it. Like in paraphrasing.
Maybe. Okay. The free will thing, I don't think is in the Bible.
Okay, but if you want my help, you have to ask for it. Is.
Yeah, in a lot of different ways, that is there. Mm-hmm. But just, okay, so I'm a young kid, when I start realizing, what am I doing? Why am I talking, telling God? He already knows. And so I thought, well, okay, what I'm going to do is just, like, I'm going to imagine myself just sitting in front of God, and he already knows my heart. He already knows my thought. I don't have to think anything. I'm just going to sit there in God's presence. I'm just going to sit there, and he's going to know. So that was my prayer for a long time. What I didn't know as a child is that's meditation. I was meditating.
Yes.
I didn't know that, but I had kind of invented it to myself. But anyway,
yourself, yeah.
But then, I mean, it changes, and as you get older, a lot of things
makes
change.
more sense. Sure.
Yeah.
In other ways, yeah.
Yeah, but now when I think about it, I'm just like, here's what bugs me about prayer. In a lot of ways, is prayer can be easily proven to be false. It can easily be put to the test and shown to be false.
Every time someone you pray for dies.
Without much effort. How is it that people still do it?
I don't know.
I feel like that there's a lot of hope that's involved with us. Mm-hmm. We want something to happen so bad that we will completely ignore the facts.
Yeah, I have a point to make there too. Is why would you beg somebody that already knows who you are, what you're thinking, and what you need?
Right.
Why would you sit down and beg them for it?
Right.
Because they demand it.
Right.
And that's the Bible.
Right.
That's it.
Well, so one of the scriptures in the Bible, and this comes from Jesus, who actually said, where two or more people will agree on something in my name, I will do it. That's what it says. Where two or more agree on something in my name, I will do it. And that always bugged me as a kid, because it's like, I know so many situations where two or more people have agreed on something and he didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
It was a lie.
It's a total lie.
How do we ignore that? How do we see that in print, do it, it doesn't happen, and not go, this is bullshit, and throw it away?
Right. And we do it again.
And again. And again. And that's religion, is just keep doing something without thinking about it.
That's also the description of insanity.
In a way.
Doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for different results.
But what happens is, I think when I was saying something about actually putting prayer to the test, and somebody's like, how do you do that? And so it's real easy. Like what you said is one way to do it. So you can, let's say, go to 10 hospitals. Mm-hmm. 10 hospitals, find 10 people who have been told that they will die within the next month.
Yep.
And pray for all 10 of them.
Wholeheartedly.
Totally. I mean, why wouldn't you pray that they live?
Right.
Pray for all 10 of them and write down how many of them live. And then get someone else to do the same thing, to go to the hospital and find 10 people who've been told that they're going to die, and that person does not pray. He just, or she just like
goes to visit.
Oh, okay. So that's those people.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to do.
Yep.
At the end of the month, check it and see how close. And then the other thing is, go to 10 NASCAR races. 10 NASCAR races. Figure out who is which car is predicted to lose. Find out in each race which car is predicted to lose, and pray that car wins. Pray, earnestly pray.
And take another person with you, because it does say 2 or more.
Take 5.
Take 10.
Let's just go get your whole Sunday school class.
Get a bus load of people.
And pray for all 10 of those NASCAR things. Get the worst one and see if that person wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good luck.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm just saying, do this. This is how you put it to the test.
It's called scientific method.
Yeah.
There's a scientific method to troubleshooting, because I've had to learn it in IT.
And then let's do one more. Go find a garden, 10 gardens. Let's a community. Go to 10 gardens. Pick one garden at random. It doesn't matter which. Don't tell the people, but just pick it and pray for that garden to grow better than the others. In your mind, just pray. This is how you're testing this, And I know there's people who are like, well, the Lord says, you shall not test the Lord thy God. Okay. But you're not testing God, you're testing prayer. So
you're
seeing if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Do that. Pray for one garden and see if it grows. And then have someone to do the same thing and not pray. They can pick one garden and say, this is the one, I'm going to watch this garden, but I'm not going to pray for it.
Right.
And see if there's any difference.
And also, if he says, do not test God, because then it's all going to go to shit.
Yeah.
Then if you're praying and praying and praying for that garden and it does go to shit.
Mm-hmm. But you're helping out. It's not really that you're just praying. You're actually helping out the garden you're supposed to be. The point that I'm trying to make is, the reason why prayer seems to work is because you pick stuff that might work.
Yeah.
There's a chance it's going to happen. So because there is a chance.
If it does work,
then you can say prayer did it.
Right.
Because there's that chance. If you pick something that there's no chance that it's going to happen, you're going to find out prayer doesn't solve it. It doesn't work. It doesn't. There. If you pick the 10 people who are going to die in the hospital, there is a chance one person
might live. Yeah.
But that's not good odds.
No.
1 out of 10?
No.
Why did God bring that guy in, but no one will do that. Mm-mm. They don't do it because they don't want to know. They don't want to know that prayer doesn't work. Or if you live in a place that has a lot of high rises like New York or something, you can pray and pray and pray that if I jump from this building to that building, I'm going to make it. Yeah.
You're not gonna.
Then you get into the temptations of Christ where he's like, throw yourself down off of the temple. God will take care of you then. Mm-hmm. And Jesus said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
Also true.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. You don't want to tempt God.
Because he, quote unquote, will say, oh, no, you tested me.
Yeah.
You're fallen. You're dying.
Yeah, and that's why people are afraid. Mm-hmm. But here's what I could say. This is what I know. I spent over 40 years of my life as a praying person, a praying believer. I believed it was going to work. I know a lot of Christians and a lot of, I'm not just picking on Christians. That's my background, and that's the people I know. I don't know a lot of Muslims who pray and stuff. I know they do.
Right.
But my experience is this. So, and again, I'm not picking on it, but like my experience was from a Christian standpoint. I prayed Christian prayer, and I believed it worked. I believe it happened. But what I can say is in 40-something years of me praying and then stopping prayer, boom, no more, not doing that anymore. And now, from then until now, nothing has changed in my life. No, it didn't. If prayer was working for me then, and I stopped praying, wouldn't my whole life fall apart?
Just blow up.
I would be able to tell. I'd be like, wow, I used to pray, and then it didn't work. It's just like nothing. There's no difference at all.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How many of your marriages did you pray to work?
Oh, I don't know. I probably prayed more to get out of them.
Well, that worked.
Like
that
worked.
worked.
No, I don't know. I mean, I even then I wasn't praying that way.
Yeah.
Like I believed that you need to, you should only pray for spiritual things. So you should pray for wisdom and understanding
and serenity.
Yeah, you need to have spirit. Yeah, you don't pray for money. You don't pray. I mean, there are people who do, but that wasn't the kind of prayer that I would do. I felt like that was materialistic. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I prayed that we would get along or that we
could find a common ground.
But I just think, especially in the later days, and that would have been early prayers, I guess. But in the later days, I just didn't pray that way, So.
Wow.
Yeah. But I have a thing that kind of confounds me. And again, I'm not making fun. It's just sort of a question that I have, and a thing that kind of I wonder about, and it just I'm just constantly surprised at is in light of the fact that prayer doesn't really have a good track record. You know, in people's life they can pick out, well, I prayed that one time and that happened. And it's like, really? In one time?
What about the other 30 times?
And because I know so many Christians is like, I've been praying and praying and I'm not getting an answer from God. Or I'm praying and he's not answering my prayers. And every once in a while you get enough to kind of keep you going. But if you prayed, and this is making fun, if you prayed to a giant magic rabbit in the sky,
would he be golden?
You would get the same exact results.
Yeah, because it's just odds.
And so it goes back to my question is how, I just want to know how and why. And if you're listening out there and you're not pissed off at me, because I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm just saying, feel free to share why you continue to do it.
You're just learning. Know. Sure. Yeah.
Some people say it works. Some people believe it worked, but it's just like, And you could say, well, prayer works. It only works, if you're praying for God's will. And it's like, okay, then why pray? If nothing's going to happen outside of God's will, He's going to do it anyway. Why are you praying? Yeah. The only prayer should be whatever your will is. Mm-hmm. And that's going to happen anyway. That's kind of conceited. It's just like, I give you permission to have your will. Right. So it's just like, what? I don't know why people still do it with the track record that prayer has, which is zip. The way that it can be put to the test, which people are either afraid to do, won't do, or they're going to be disappointed in the result. How is it that the world, just as a group, still prays? Let me pose this to you. Okay. And I'm playing quote unquote devil's advocate, which at this point. Which you love to do. I do. Because I don't pray. Mm-hmm. But I do know people that do. Okay. And people that pray for things to happen, like, please save my dad, please, help this person to live, mm-hmm. please help the surgeon to help, mm-hmm. save this person's life. I mean, those are all great things to pray for because they're important to you. Mm-hmm. But people who, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, people who say things like, please grant me the acceptance I need. Mm-hmm. That's AA stuff right there. I've never done that. But it's I wonder, like, though, too, give me the solace mm-hmm. and the peace of mind I'm going to need to get through what's about to happen. Yeah. So if this is your will, mm-hmm. and again, I'm not a believer, mm-hmm. but if somebody is trying to accept what's happening, mm-hmm. sometimes to me that's a form of meditation. Okay. It is I need solace here. Mm-hmm. I need the ability to accept what's about to happen in my life. Mm-hmm. I need the grace to get through it. Okay. I need all of these things. Okay. Now, they might think they're asking some deity or mm-hmm. some entity to give that to them, but in my opinion, what these people are actually doing is they're setting their own mindset to say, I'm preparing for this. And that's a form of meditation. Well, I got no problem with that. But what I do have the problem with is the fact that all of that stuff they already have. And they can pull it out of themselves on their own strength. Well, maybe that's how they're pulling it out of themselves. I mean, you could argue that it doesn't really matter how it comes out, that as long as it comes out. And maybe that's true. But I feel like if you're thinking that some magic genie or magic god or magic angel or whatever is giving you that, that's just a step in the way. I agree. Eliminate that and realize you already have it. Yep. I mean, even in religion, in Christianity, the words of Jesus is that you have it now, here, right here. Yep. You don't even need to ask. I mean, I think it was Jesus who said, you got it before you ask. God will give it to you before. Why? Because He already knows that you need it. You don't need to pray for this. You already have it. Yeah. And so I just feel like that's a step that people are doing that's unnecessary, and it just it keeps them from realizing the reality. So what you're suggesting, or what I honestly am hearing you say, and what I think might be a better idea, rather than praying for guidance from this entity or this deity to give them these things, people would be better off if they were to just sit and say, I have this in me and I need to pull this out right now. Yeah, I don't. And I just need to sit in quiet and sit in peace for a little while mm-hmm. and accept what's happening because I have the ability to do so. Yeah, acceptance doesn't. You don't need permission to accept. Acceptance, you have to do. That's your move. Yeah. So sure, you do it. I'm not being insensitive. I think that there are a lot of times when we can't handle the situation that's happened, or we think we can't. Right. And we might need to kind of pull ourselves aside and sit down, be quiet, be silent, look within.
Sit
all of
in
those
stillness.
things.
Yeah.
Right. All of those things, I think they're valuable. I'm not saying that they're not. And you could call that prayer. You could say it's serving prayer's function or whatever. But I don't understand the pleading to a being that, number one, already knows, apparently, how things are going to turn out. That it's all predestined or pre-knowledged. God knows every single thing that's going to happen, has happened, will happen, whatever.
Omnipresent, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't change it, and he couldn't either, apparently. I mean, he's already said this is how it's going to be.
He already decided not to.
And he knows how it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, in all of that, I just feel like it kind of goes back to my thought when I was a kid. It's just like, if you believe in God, why not just sit in his or her presence?
Why does it have to be a gendered entity?
Because that's what we're humans. That's all we understand. I mean, you can say it, and then it starts sounding like a robot. People want God to be more personal, and whether God is personal, I'm not going to get into that. But I'm just saying, his or her, how we think about things right now. So until we can get better pronouns, that's what we got.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make it personal. I'm just saying, why not just sit in the presence of God and not say anything? Just express love. That's it. Just do that. Can you do that? Just like say, this is, I don't know. I don't know why you need to plead your case. I don't know why you need to plead your thoughts.
Why
There's
would
a lot
you?
of ego involved in
Yes,
that too.
yes.
And it's just like that really kind of prevents anything from happening, I guess. But I keep going back to my original statement, not of trying to make fun of anything. It's just that why does it continue when it's easily proven that it doesn't work or it's not a good idea? I think the answer, if I can answer my own question, is that people don't want to think about it. They don't want to know.
They don't want to admit that
They want a world where they can write letters to Santa and say, bring me this, I need this. That's what they want. They want to plead.
I'm with you. They don't want to admit that we're all on our own and we're doing the best we can on our own.
Yeah.
But we have all the wisdom within us that we already need. And we already have all of the tools to do what we need to do. We just need to activate those tools. Wonder Twin powers.
Well, we've been told by a lot of religious institutions and people since we were young is that we're shit.
Yeah.
We're no good. That we can't, and that's not the gospel.
It's not.
That's totally opposite from what Jesus talked about when he was here.
Jesus talked about lifting people up.
Well, he talked about it's the kingdom of God is within you.
Yeah.
It's there. It's right there in you. You don't have to go anywhere for it. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to change. You don't have to go on a journey. It's right there. Now, always. It's always been there. Just open your eyes. It's
just
right
use
there.
it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that religion, so much of the religion just puts all of that off. It's actually the opposite from what Jesus taught.
Yes, because people in power want to be the ones that you have to go to for help.
Yeah. Well, too, the people in power, half of them don't know.
Well,
they don't know.
Yeah. Because
they're just saying what they were taught in seminary. They don't know.
Well, even back in the day when they did read the actual Gospels, they were like, "Oh, I can use this."
Some of them, yeah. I don't. I don't know. I don't believe that a lot of people are as evil as maybe you do, but
I do.
just tend to think it's people that they're just doing what they've been told to do. They're doing it because someone told them that's the way to do it, and then that person did it because someone told them that's the way you do it, and you pass it down. They don't think about it.
It's like a game of telephone.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it gets changed a little bit, but and if you ask them, they're like, I don't know. That's just what we've always done. I mean, there are a few people that's just like, so we can get some money.
Yeah.
But most people don't. I think most pastors, religious people in the church, whatever, they're legitimately believers. They want to do what's right. They're trying to do what's right. Just like that's their understanding, and they've never challenged it. I believe that. That's what I see often. So,
I know about one recent pastor that I have questions about.
Oh, a pastor?
Yeah, in Tennessee.
I have a lot of questions about some pastors in Tennessee.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes. But so apparently there was a book burning.
Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then since then, he has decided. What did he decide? There was something about him that he... I need glasses. Why can't I read, Rick?
Because you haven't prayed hard enough.
You ruined my eyesight.
It wasn't me. It was God.
Okay, so I think this is the same guy. He resigned.
Resigned?
As a pastor.
Oh, thank God. I can't imagine that, but whatever.
Did you just say thank God?
Yeah.
So what had happened was, this might actually not be the same guy. This is a Catholic guy.
Well, it's not the same guy.
All right. So this Catholic
guy... There are no
guy...
Catholics in Tennessee.
Oh, you're right.
About?
This is from Arizona. You're
I'm
right.
Just kidding.
Also,
there are Catholics in
some,
Tennessee, but that's not the same guy.
No,
this
it's not
guy
the same
was...
guy.
The book burning guy was some Pentecostal evangelical crazy
who
dude.
Wouldn't let people into his church if they wore masks.
Right, just crazy.
Yeah, just crazy.
No, I don't want to even hardly talk about that dude because I know we've mentioned it and we need to mention it, but I don't want to give him press because that's why he's doing it. He's doing it for attention. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
he's a dick. That's the attention I will give him.
You're
Reverend
a dick.
Preacher Dick, Brother Dick,
Deacon Dick.
You're a dick.
You're a dick.
Yeah, and by the way, you're going to hell. No matter how hard you work, you're going to hell. I'm telling him right now.
I'm going to meet him there.
All right.
If I believed in hell. There? I mean, whatever.
He won't even have to burn the books. All he has to do is pull a book out and he'll burn because he'll be in hell.
He'll be in hell. So this guy, this is a Catholic church guy, Catholic pastor, whatever. So he was doing these baptisms.
Oh, yeah.
And he used the word we instead of I.
Okay.
In a sentence.
All right.
And that means that there are several hundred baptisms that apparently need to be redone.
So he did it like on all of them?
Yeah.
Did he just memorize the thing wrong?
I guess so.
That's weird.
But what's the difference to me? What's the difference to you?
There's no difference. What if he speaks Spanish? That's not the word. What difference is what the...
What if he's
shape
what
you're
if
making
he's
with
Italian?
Your lips and tongue?
What if he's Czechoslovakian?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What if
word,
he's Middle Eastern?
The actual word doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
No.
But he had to resign from his position because now apparently all of the people he baptized have to go be rebaptized because their baptism has been thrown out.
You know what I would like to tell them?
I would love to hear it.
They're all thrown out. None of them
are
any good.
I agree.
They're all...
What the hell?
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
You're pouring water on a baby's head.
Yeah, or even an adult's head. Or with adults, they normally just like put them down in a river.
I don't want to get people all around.
Sorry.
About there.
All right.
Sorry. If you've been I've been baptized several times. I was baptized when I was a baby in the Methodist church. My grandfather had it done.
Methodist?
Yeah, because he was Methodist, and they baptized babies in the Methodist church. So he wanted us to be baptized in...
Oh, because they don't baptize babies in Baptist church.
No.
You have to
reach the age of accountability in the Baptist church.
Right.
And I did that, and I was baptized in the Baptist church. Yeah.
So you've been baptized twice?
Twice. It took, baby. Yeah. I've got a fallback plan.
What's your fallback?
No, I get 2 baptisms. So if one doesn't work,
the other one might.
If the guy happened to say we instead of I, my other one will take.
Why don't you go? Why don't you? I think we should all just go get baptized in all the churches we can.
Sure.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I almost was baptized in the Mormon church.
I was almost baptized in the Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
In the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah. I almost became. So this is true. I'm going to tell you the truth on this, and this is not making fun. This is just my experience. So I became very interested in Mormonism when I was in high school, and I went to the church. And I wrote, so this is funny because I wrote to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I just said, I'm interested in finding out more information. And next thing I know, there's these people knocking on my door.
Yep.
I had no idea that was going to happen. Of course, I'm just a kid, And so these people would come in and they would sit on my couch, on my mom's couch. And they had
Was your mom home?
Yeah, she didn't care for it that much.
But, I bet she didn't.
But to her credit, she didn't say anything. And they had this little flip chart. They would tell me the stories about Jesus coming to America, which is what Mormonism is about, basically, is Jesus came to America and he taught the Native Americans the gospel. This was after he resurrected.
Right.
When he resurrected... And he didn't go straight to heaven.
He went on a trip.
He's like, I got somewhere else I got to go first.
Yep.
I got to go to America and talk to the people out in America for a while.
He's like, I'm going to travel.
And so he did. He came out here. And then the angel, I think Angel Moroni.
Yes. Very good.
Macaroni. He wrote all of it down. He wrote all of the testament of Jesus Christ being in America. He wrote all of it down into the Book of Mormon, and he hid the writings. And
what were those writings on?
I can't remember now.
Were they the gold plates?
Maybe. But Joseph Smith found them, and he had them translated.
But he found them because a salamander told him where to find them, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
I have heard that. I don't know the full story on that.
Okay.
I think there's part of that there's some truth in it. But anyway, so he found it. He translated it. It became the Book of Mormon. And that's basically Mormonism. And so these guys told me that whole story. Never heard of it before. And I got my copy of the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, and there's another one in there, Doctrines and Covenants. So they have like 3 books and the Bible, so 4 books.
Yeah,
carry all that. And I went to the church. I was ready, man. I almost did it. And so, like, one of the last little presentations they gave, the guy said, so now written in, I think it's the Book of Mormon, might be the Bible, but I think it's the Book of Mormon. It's like written in the Book of Mormon. It says, if you want to know if these things are true, pray.
You're like, I'm out.
So we're going to pray. And so we all bowed our heads and prayed. And right in the middle of that prayer, I felt this really strong thing, impulse, voice, whatever inside me saying, no.
Get out.
Go.
Get
away.
out. Go. Run.
So finally, my conclusion to our whole podcast has to be prayer works.
Okay.
Because it was true, and I didn't become a Mormon. So, all
right,
if you're Mormon, more power to you.
Sorry, let's be done.
I love the Osmonds. That's actually, that was why I was going to be a Mormon. Because you wanted to hit on Marie. I thought the Osmonds were cool.
You wanted to hit on Marie.
I asked her to marry me. She wouldn't answer.
No.
Let's wrap this podcast up. We've offended way too many people.
But not each other.
The Jewish people are laughing at this point.
Right.
I don't know, though. Jewish people pray.
Well,
pray, so
yeah, in their own way.
Yeah, they have prayers.
It's a thing.
Yeah, everybody prays.
I don't.
That should be a song. Everybody prays. Let's pray what we think about this beer. What do you think?
I think we've both drank about the same amount of it. Again, let me just remind you what we're drinking. We're drinking...
I should write this down.
Keep It Crunchy.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Keep It Crunchy. It's a granola snout. Snout? Did I just say snout?
Something like that.
It's a granola stout. Hello. It's 6.5% alcohol by volume, clearly, by Ommegang. And I definitely, if you think about the things that they say I should taste in here.
Yeah.
They say cranberry, honey, cocoa nibs.
Oh, no, I didn't get any of that.
Pecan, oats, and vanilla.
No. Sometimes I just think they make that shit up. I don't know that all that stuff is in there.
Okay, so what did you taste?
It just tasted like a stout.
And what does that taste like?
Kind of sweet, kind of dark, a little yeasty, bready, kind of. I don't know.
Maybe the cocoa nibs?
Yeah, a little chocolatey, not that much.
It doesn't say anything about coffee.
It's a little coffee-ish, though.
But it doesn't say anywhere on
here.
Well,
again, I think they make it up. They could just as easily say coffee. They don't. I think they're like, this one, we're going to say this.
Did you get honey?
I don't know.
Stop it.
That just sounded like a setup. I don't.
Did you get
any honey?
Did you get honey? Did you get cranberry?
I didn't get any cranberry, no fruity at all.
Pecan.
All right, so
fine.
Let's move.
I'm going to give it like a 2.
2 for you. I'm giving it a 3.5.
Wow.
I liked it. Of the stouts that we've had recently, it's probably my favorite. It's not overwhelming. The taste is not like, wow, just knocks you down. Some of the stouts we've had recently have been just so flavorful in a certain direction. And
sweet.
It's kind of too much.
Too sweet, yeah.
Sweet has been too much. And this one has got a little bit of sweetness, but it's kind of pulled back. Mm-hmm. But I like a lot about it, even though it's weird. The taste, what do you call it? The taste, I can't think what it is. The flavor
profile.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is not anything that I can identify. Like we're saying, I can't say there's cranberry. It doesn't taste like granola that I've had.
No.
There's really not chocolate.
No.
It's sort of that stuff, but I can't. Nothing specific.
To me, it just tastes. It honestly tastes like a chocolate stout.
It just tastes like a regular stout, like we've had.
But it says nothing about chocolate.
I know, like we've had on the show so many times. But I like it because it's kind of it's friendly.
It's friendly.
Yeah, it just doesn't overdo itself.
It touches you nicely.
So 3.5, I'm giving it. I can have another one of these, I think.
Well, you do. You have another one of those
I do.
downstairs. Okay. Well, good. So we've rated our beer.
I liked it. You didn't.
I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. Okay. It's just nothing special.
Okay.
Okay.
So we closing down. We're saying goodbye.
Let's say goodbye because how long has it been? We've been talking for like an hour.
Yeah. If you would like to comment on anything we said, if you would like to share your experience on prayer, I have nothing against prayer. Believe me, I believed in prayer for 40-something years. I understand what it's like to pray. I understand what it's like to believe in prayer. And I tend to not want to make fun of anybody's spirituality or anybody's practice or anybody's anything. However, I've never been ashamed of questioning and saying why.
Question
and that's what
everything.
I'm doing.
Question everything.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just saying, how does this happen? How can people believe it in light of this? And maybe you have an answer to that. If you do and you'd like to share it, thisepicdisaster@gmail.com. You can send me an email. We'll read it on the air. We'll even maybe discuss it.
Possibly.
And if you don't want us to, tell us not to do that.
And then
but
we
if you
will.
would just like to answer it, that's fine. I don't have a problem. I know some of our listeners are probably religious and go to church and whatever, and that's fine. You're going to go to hell from listening to the podcast. I'll tell you that now. I can tell you that now. That is in the Bible.
But we will meet you there.
In like the book of James or something like that.
Book of James.
But anyway, so
the
yeah,
book
you do
of
that.
Rick.
Follow us on Facebook if you would like to. The episodes are all posted on YouTube, and then occasionally we're on Twitter, but rarely. And Instagram, we do have an Instagram account too.
Rarely.
But that's it. Anything else that we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Well, then we'll just quit.
All right. Stop it now.
All right. We will see you next week on the show, and maybe we'll talk about something that's not as offensive to people.
I don't think we were offensive.
No, I hope not. I don't think we were offensive at all.
I don't think so.
No.
Just questioning.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.